Hello, everyone, and good morning. Welcome to our live feed update for September 16th. I'm your host, Taran Armstrong, and I'm here today to update you on everything that happened yesterday on the Big Brother 25 live feeds. It was day 45 in the house, and it was the first full day of the new Jared HOH reign. We got some nominations, we got new alliances, plans, and all kinds of stuff here for the day. And with me to talk about it all is Aysha. How you doing, Aysha?
Hey, Taran, I'm doing great. I feel like what yesterday taught me, it taught me two things: that now we know what it's like to have a house without Izzy and her impact. The second, but also who I realized I never knew her last name because I tried to look her up on Twitter and I said Izzy Fields and nothing came up. And I was like, oh, that's not her actual last name. The second thing that I learned is that I've been trying to figure out what is Jared doing. It's like that Mike Bloom clip. Jared, what are you doing? Or what are you doing, Jared? He is just playing a consistent game of improv. And I think if you look at it from that lens, it just makes sense.
He's just yes-anding.
Yeah. He's just like, Jared, you lied. Yes. And I see it. He just goes. I can't even make sense of it. But it's just. I think he believes the lies that he tells. He tells them so easily, and that just has helped me view his conversations better without just changing the camera.
Yes. Well, let's talk through the day. We will. I will catch you up, of course, on what happened the previous day, which is that they voted Izzy out. Jared won the HOH, and he mentioned that Cameron is his target, but he wants to backdoor him. And in order to backdoor Cameron, he wanted Jag on the block, maybe with Corey. That was the idea. The idea being that if Cam somehow does get picked for the veto and wins it, he wants Jag to be his backup target. That was the plan as of the night before, the night of day 44. So we head into day 45 with that in mind. And I am, in fact, wearing some merch from my merch store if you want to go there and check it out because it's cool stuff. So we start the day. Jared's going to talk to Cirie. That's really the most important thing that happens at the start of the day. He hasn't really had a chance to check in with Cirie the night before. And so she's letting him know she's kind of feeling like, what do you think about Corey and America nominations? And Jared's like, oh, believe me, I really want to nominate America. But I was thinking Jag and Corey might be better noms because if Jag wins, or if Jag is playing in the veto, that decreases Cam's odds of winning. Plus, Jag would be his backup target. He would love for Jag to leave if Cam does win. And she's like, oh, that's a good idea. You're totally right, Jared. He says he still doesn't trust Jag at all. That's why he wants Jag to go. But he does still think he's good with Matt. He's got Matt. Matt's still on board. Matt's loyal. He's his guy. I don't know why he thinks this.
Right. It makes no sense.
But he does.
Matt has just done a very good job at just being where his feet are. Like when you are in a conversation with him, he is going to make you believe that he is loyal. And so even after everything that happened yesterday, everything that was put on the table, for Jared to still believe that, oh, that side doesn't have Matt, we have Matt. Matt talks to us. That's all Matt has to do is be friendly with them. And that's enough for Jared to believe that, oh, Matt's good. We can move forward with Matt.
Yeah, he lied straight to Matt's face, told him that he was misinterpreting him, that you must have misinterpreted, and I guess thinks he got away with that, and that Matt must have been, oh, I guess I misinterpreted then. Jared's still totally fine with me. And so he fully believes that Matt is still on board with him, while the reality is that Matt is perhaps the person who most wants Jared out next week.
Exactly. It's like if we look at Matt as like one of Cirie's kids, he does have that same ability that she has, where you're not going to know that she has a problem with you while you're speaking with them, then I feel like Matt has just like, and that's what you have to do in this game. Obviously, it's worked for Jared. You just read the room. If you're the same as you were before, then someone like Jared isn't going to think anything is different.
Yeah. Well, Suri warns him. She says, well, don't forget, Izzy talked to us about this, that like, Matt used the power on Jag. Like, they're close. We know this. We should know this. And he goes on to talk about how Izzy screwed up telling Corey way too much, as though he didn't do any of that. And she says Corey, he played her. He tricked Izzy. He got her. She suggests, well, wait a minute. What if you make a deal with Jag? Because we don't trust Jag. What if you make a deal with him to not put him up, get safety for next week, and then you just put up Corey in America? And Jared's like, oh, okay, all right, yeah, that works. That could work. Okay.
And in this post Izzy world, that would have changed 10 million times after this moment.
Yeah, I'll just go ahead and throw up the graphic at this point, because that becomes the plan. We're gonna get to nominations later, but the plan changes in the I mean, guys, this is like a regular cycle of Big Brother.
Right.
The HOH had a loose plan, talked it through with their closest ally, confirmed a more firm plan that was only a slight change from the loose plan, and then nothing changed for like the whole
What?
day. Ugh.
Right. Yeah, it's just BB25. They're throwing back to all this stuff, right, from past seasons. This week, they decided to just throw it back to the past few seasons where things operated this way.
Yeah. Well, so that becomes the plan. Bowie comes in. Bowie is telling them that, hey, Cam, he's gonna try and pin you guys against Corey, but you can't let him get you. Bowie very much trying to play the anti-Cam card, and weirdly kind of like sticking up for Corey here. They see through it though. They're like, we don't believe. I guess see through it is a weird way to say that, because I don't think she's being dishonest, but see through the fact that she's trying to act like she's with them. They're like, Bowie's not with us. We don't trust Bowie, but also we'll never put Bowie on the block. So Blue is going to talk to Jared briefly. They had a whole big argument the night before, mostly about her not being happy for him winning HOH, a little bit about all of the lies that he's told her. And she was, remember, last night, done with him. She was like, I can't wait to put Jared on the block. Yesterday morning, I said, okay, call me next week when you still feel that way.
Right.
Turns out I didn't need to wait until even next week. I just had to wait out the night, because she's like, listen, I'm sorry about last night. Things got a little weird. I'm okay now. And we should talk later. And he's like, what do you mean we should talk later? You're worrying me. She's like, no, it's a good talk, good thing. It's like, okay.
And then proceeds to just cuddle and hug in the kitchen,
Yeah.
publicly. I was just like, oh my gosh, there are people around. I mean, I guess that is like, people don't care about PDA and stuff, but like, oh, it was a lot.
Yep. So Blue's gonna talk to Jag and let him know that she talked to Jared last night, and she just wants to talk more about the, like the whole situation with Corey and America, what their story is, because Jared's got a different story, and she just wants to be able to like get both sides of the story, and hear both sides out, because can we really trust Corey in America? with all this information. And Jag goes through all of the points of how very clearly Corey and America are telling the truth and Jared is lying. And she's like, yeah, okay, yeah, I mean, that does make sense. But here's the thing, Jag. Here's the thing. The one thing people have been wondering. This is me talking now. People have been wondering, does Blue even remember this secret? Because literally every action in this house that she has made, every statement that she has uttered, has seemed to indicate that she doesn't know. She is operating in this game as though she has no idea that Sari is Jared's mom. Because you'd think that you'd be acting very differently if you knew.
You would think.
But now,
I flipped back and forth so many times the past week. Like, oh, maybe she forgot. Oh, maybe she thinks it's Felicia. Okay, maybe she forgot. Just you can never tell.
But now, it is finally going to impact her game. She's going to make a call that is based on the fact that she knows that Sari is Jared's mom. And that call is that she can definitely trust Jared because he told her the secret.
Yeah. I mean, just when you have the hope you can have in Blue to like step up and start playing the game, it never lasts more than 8 hours. That's pushing it too.
Yeah. She says the one so this is what she says to Jag. She says the one thing that is holding me back from like just not trusting him is that he's told me like some big things. Like big things that would kind of mess some stuff up for him. So why would he trust me with those things if he didn't trust me and wanted to work with me? And Jag is like, I don't know. Like, things might have changed since then. He might have just used it to keep you close. Like he might have just thought you'd never find out that he was playing you. Like, I don't know. But this is the sticking point in Blue's head. She's like, how could he be playing me if he told me this secret?
It so easily could have been the Cameron, Jared, Corey situation 2.0 from last week. So easily if she hadn't told Jag. Let's say she told America. She's confiding in America. Hey, I think I can trust Jared because he told me like really big secret that could really mess up things. America goes to Corey. Jared told Blue a very big secret. What could this be? Why does everybody have a big secret? And the fact that she told Jag, it's going to stop there. Like that, I don't even imagine Jag. Jag is still asking about, okay, last Tuesday.
I know.
What? Why did you ask so and so? Okay, the 10-0 vote. Why was that like an O? Like what? Who could have been a 1? It like Jag is not. He could probably think about this in 3 weeks. 3 weeks, it might come up. You know what? Blue did tell me that Jared had a secret, but she told the right person.
Jag, he's claiming to be a sub, right? A substitute teacher.
Oh yeah,
He's absolutely the math teacher that is like an absolute stickler for showing your work. Like, oh, I'm sorry, 4 + 2. Are you showing your work? How did you get to that answer? Like, what does it matter if I have the right answer? Come on. That's just some childhood trauma for you. So Jared is going to talk to Jag and he's going to start doing his one-on-ones. He talks to Jag and he basically says, let's lock in a deal. Can we move forward together, work together, keep each other safe? And Jag says, yes. And that's basically all they needed to do here. This is what, the plan was. He was going to talk to Jag, make a deal. Jag agreed. And that locks it in. Corey and America are the noms.
There we go. It felt very straightforward. You have an argument with Corey. Put Corey up with his showmance. You've already been targeting her. It makes sense. And I was surprised because this house loves to overcomplicate things. So very, very interesting.
Mm. Blue talks to Matt and also tells Matt, I know things that could ruin Jared's game, so I really don't think he can betray me. And they talk about, you know, everything. She goes through that whole conversation. Blue is having these conversations throughout the day as Jared has his conversations. Jared talks to Corey. Corey comes in. He's like, so how's that final two looking? Um, Jared's like, looking good. Looking good. Jared says that he is targeting Cameron. Corey says, if I survive the week, my door is open. I feel like Corey does not do a good job here. I feel like there was very clearly an opportunity to get Jag on the block instead of both him and America. Now, granted, the plan is Cameron, and theoretically, everyone will use the veto, including Cameron. And if Cameron does use the veto, Jag might go up anyway, and Jag then might go home. So it's not like the most dire situation in the world, but ideally, you get Jared to put Jag up right away so that there's no like pretense that he could still work with Jag. Because if Cam does win the veto and he does want to use the veto, and Jared is thinking, well, do I really want to take the shot at Jag if he still believes that I'm with him? Whereas, you know, if Jag was on the block, that relationship's already more burned. Like, it's just better for Corey if Jag goes on the block. And I feel like, again, like, this is a flaw in Corey's game, is that he always just kind of assumes that everyone is already at the point that he's at. So he's like, you're probably going to put up me in America. Like, I get it. And he didn't even really try. He didn't talk to Jared last night like Jag did. I mean, at the end of the day, Jag outplayed Corey in this nomination cycle by a decent amount. And really got ahead of the nominations and managed to keep himself off the block. So good on Jag to do that, and shame on Corey, because I think there was more he could have done here.
Absolutely. Like that's my big, like that is my biggest issue with Corey's game, is that he obviously he's thinking from his perspective, but he's also thinking that everyone thinks similarly to him. Like, he's like, oh, this is what makes the most sense, so this is what's going to happen, rather than being a little bit more adaptable and saying, okay, even though this is what he should do, let me try to, you know, change that plan and, you know, get Jag up. And he does this a lot, and he's been doing it for a while, where when he's talking to people, he finishes their sentence because he's assuming, like, oh, this is what I would think that they would say, rather than letting them talk. It's like the opposite of Cameron, where Cameron just says nothing and just lets them keep talking until they just,
and
like,
then doesn't listen to them.
Exactly. Exactly. Yeah, it's like there is a middle ground where Corey could hear what is being said and then respond, rather than assuming that this person is feeling how he thinks that they would feel. Kind of, I guess, kind of like how Vanessa played the game. Not saying he's Vanessa level, but Vanessa did that similar thing where it was like, everyone's thinking as strategically as I am, and so I'm going to operate in that way.
And I think it's sort of the same thing with what happened in the fight on Thursday, where, like, clearly Corey comes out looking way better than Jared. He succeeds in that way. But and this is what I talked about, just participating at all was a loss for Corey, because it put him as the focal point for Jared and for this whole situation. Because, like, he just, like, I don't know, he felt like he just needed to be honest. Like, Corey has an honesty problem in the Big Brother game. Like, there's a reason why people make these, like, really elaborate whatever, like Vanessa and her reasons, even just you know, what Suri was doing before, where it was like, oh man, things got really hectic, and then we couldn't trust them and they couldn't trust us. And even though it seems like such an obvious, like, misdirection that keeps like, that anybody would see through, you have people like Jag and Blue and even Matt at times, like, unable to see through it, because it's just enough of a facade to keep things moving. Corey really just had to cut right to the truth, because he felt justified, because he had the truth on his side, and that works in the argument, but it also, like, again, puts him as the focal point here. So not a whole lot accomplished from this this one-on-one. Cam is going to talk to Jared, and Cam actually, I think, does a decent job here. He is like in a no-win situation right now.
Right.
Like he is at the worst possible position. So there's like not much that he can do. But he actually does the thing that I mentioned yesterday, which is, hey, if I make it to the jury, I'm a vote for you. Which I think can be very effective here. If anybody else had done it.
Yeah. It is.
Because
Yeah.
it's not a thing that will, and I meant to mention this yesterday, but it's not a thing that will save you from being evicted. Nobody's going to be like, well, I am targeting you because I think you're the most threatening person to my game, but you'll vote for me on the jury. No, it's the kind of thing that's like, okay, if I'm somewhat indifferent between Corey and Jag, then
Mm-hmm.
whichever one of them is offering me their vote in a 7-person jury, maybe I'm a little more inclined to go, well, the scales were balanced, but this is a little extra over here. Versus, unfortunately for Cam at this point, like, you know, the scales are way imbalanced and a little jury vote is not going to help.
Exactly. And then even offering, like, look, if I win, you and Blue are safe. There's a missing piece there. You've already said you're going to put up my mom. Like, I need my mom to be safe too. And so, yeah, obviously Cameron can't go up and say, okay, you, Blue, Suri, all safe if I win. Okay, that's not realistic.
Mm-hmm. I mean, and I'll say again, like Corey, why is Cam out campaigning you here? Out
Right.
campaigning.
Oh.
All right. Anyway, so, I'm sorry. Jared's gonna talk to Blue. Or actually, Corey talked to Blue first. They talked more about what happened the week, the day before and all of that. Corey actually said to Blue at one point, like, "Hey, if I were to make a final 5 right now, it would be myself, you, Jag, Matt, and America." And Blue was like, "That makes sense to me." But the point is that she's just going over all of the information again, and it's still very clear that like Jared was doing all of these things. She's trying to, like, what she's doing throughout the day, I believe, is trying to find holes so that she can
Mm-hmm.
believe Jared's story, but like there are no holes in the story. And I think her ultimate conclusion was like, okay, he definitely lied to me.
Yeah.
But it's not like I'm not gonna work with him. It's not like I'm not gonna like be with him. So like,
Mm-hmm.
what am I gonna do? She does not rat Jag and Matt out for pretending to believe Jared, nor does she like fully even rat Corey out for what he's doing. However, she does go to Blue, she does go to Jared and says like, "Hey, you know, I know you told me about your big secret, so I know you must still trust me. Um, and like we should work together moving forward." And Jared's like, "You need to trust me more." She's like, I know. He says, "You're my Izzy, bro. You're my Izzy." And so there's this weird sort of tenuous balance going on here.
Like
That
you're Izzy that you just voted out.
and it almost felt like is she a little bit threatening him by bringing up the
Mhm.
secret? Like, you know what I mean?
Like as a
Like,
reminder.
I feel like it might have been a little bit of a threat, and I feel like Jared might have taken it a little bit like a threat because right
Hmm.
after this conversation, he's going to tell Sari, I think Izzy might have told Blue the secret.
The way my eyes almost got stuck from rolling them so hard. I was like, of course he would try to blame Izzy. Izzy isn't even on the plane back home, and he is already blaming her for telling a secret that he like. Uh, we should expect this from him at this point, but that is so annoying. And I love, 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 love Suri's response. Izzy wouldn't do that. If Izzy would have
Nope.
told anybody, it would have been Corey. Corey would have already put that out there. Izzy's not doing that. The fact that she believes Izzy over her flesh and blood just shows you the bond that they have.
I mean, Corey's right. Izzy was the golden child. Like, Before he finished the conversation with Blue, though, he did bring up the idea, like, if Cam won the veto, I'd almost want to like tell him to use it so I could put up Jag. How would you feel about that, Blue? And Blue's like, yeah, I guess so. And she did not warn Jag about that either. So Blue, despite the sort of like what's going on here, whether intentional or not, has now put herself in the position that she should be strategically, which is don't rat out your friends. Don't rat out your showmans. Just don't rat people out. Yeah. Don't make the people that want to work with you target each other. Instead, try to keep them from targeting each other as much as possible and get out all of the other people that don't want to work with you. That is, it's fairly simple, but, she's not doing a great job of preventing her allies from targeting each other, but she is at the very least not making things worse.
Yeah. I literally was talking to my mom and she was like, what is Blue doing? Just like, the night before, it felt like, okay, she would actually go after Jared. But now today it's like, okay, she's trying to put herself in a position where she has all the information at the very least. We know she's not going to do anything about it. But Blue only tries to play the game when Jared's HOH because she thinks she's the first lady. And so
she only tries to play the game when she's mad at Jared.
Yeah, that's the key, literally. Because even her thought that, because she feels so betrayed that, like, because the night before talking to Jag, like, oh, I feel like he was trying to put us against each other. I'm like, yeah, because you cuddle with him all day and night. And that's what he's saying is he can't stand Jag. So now you feel that he's trying to turn you against Jag. I'm like, that's all, because that's all you're hearing. That's how he feels.
Mm-hmm. Well, we finally get a conversation that we've all been waiting for. Felicia and Mimi. Felicia is telling Mimi that Mimi was the only one that she felt would have voted for her no matter what. She feels that Cirie and Jared would have voted for Izzy if that's the way the house was going. She did not feel supported by them at all. And Mimi says, I've got some news to tell you. She says, so Corey pulls me into a room Wednesday night and tells me that if I want to keep Felicia, we can do that. And here are the votes. And that how like Cirie and Jared have been pushing for Izzy to go or for Izzy to stay. And that I was being left out of it. It was going to be an 8-1 vote. And Felicia's like, that makes sense. I was feeling like Cirie and Jared did not have my back. I could see their behavior change. And Mimi says, basically, the way I felt was, I don't know if what he's telling me is true. I don't care. I just want Felicia to stay, so I'm going to go along with it. So this helps connect a lot of dots for me, having watched Mimi talk with Corey. It did not feel like she was buying into me, which at the time I was like, this doesn't feel like she's buying in. And then when she seemed to buy in and not tell anybody, and then go along with them, I was a little surprised. I was like, wow, I think I must have read that wrong. Like, Mimi is, I guess, on board. However, it seems as though the thing that's closer to the truth is that she was skeptical. She still doesn't know whether to believe everything Corey was saying. In fact, so much so that she's not telling Felicia everything that Corey is saying. She's not telling her about like the other times they were almost left out of the votes, and how like and like all of the details and stuff. And so basically what she's saying, like, I don't know if it's true. I don't care. All I cared about was keeping you safe. And we can still work with Cirie and Jared. We can still go to the end with the Brown Sugar Babes. We just know they're not necessarily the most reliable. They're not going to have our backs, and we know that now. So, again, another player here, much more actively and sort of like smartly, making sure to lock in her ally Felicia. making sure that they know that they can't rely on Cirie and Jared, but still willing to work with them moving forward. And then, of course, maintaining any kind of connection over on the other side. So good stuff here from Mimi. And Felicia is like, I knew it. It's Cirie. And she watches this back. I'm sorry, but like she's playing the game.
Like Cirie's gonna be so offended by that. She said, "I'm playing the game."
Yeah, she's playing the game, and I still trust them to an extent, but and I still want to work with them, but I know now that I can't depend on them. And Felicia says, Mimi, I had a final two with Cirie, but now I feel like it's Cirie and Jared have a final two. And so they agree they're going to have a final two together.
You know, this reminded me of if like in season 23 had like Tiffany had an actual choice of Claire and the cookout. Like if she wanted to keep
Mm.
Claire and betray her alliance, but the mission of the cookout was more important. Whereas with the brown sugar babe, it was like, yeah, we got each other's back, but we don't have this mission behind us. So I do have a better personal connection to Izzy. So that's why I'm riding for Izzy. Where I do understand why they feel the way they feel now. I feel like Izzy's the only person that they would do that for. Like I feel you put Felicia or Mimi in a position where they're against anybody else. Cirie's not going to ride as hard for anybody else except for Jared.
Yes, but there is more information that could leak from just today of more alliances that Mimi and Felicia are being left out of. So we'll see what happens.
Yeah.
Especially because they're making these alliances with people that they can't exactly trust. But in fact, that's the next conversation. So look at that. Look at that timing. Cirie, Jared, Matt, and Blue are going to come together into the HOH room, and Jared essentially proposes, let's work together. You guys are my people. And I think they mean it. Both Jared and Cirie, but more Jared. Jared really feels like Blue, Cirie, girlfriend, mom, best bro. This is it. He's like, I'm done with everything else. You guys are my people. I just want to work together with you guys. That's it. Like, that's what makes the most sense to me. And Cirie comes in with the same thing. Like, yes, this makes so much sense. Like, Cirie also with the idea. You know, great minds, me, Cirie, and Cam. 7-person jury. We don't. I'm definitely votes for you guys. If I make the jury, I would vote for any one of you in the finals. To help sort of like at least Cirie understands that like this is not a game saving move. It's just a like lock it in a little bit more move. So they make a bit of an alliance here. That of course does not include Mimi Felicia.
Right, true. I feel like yes, like you said, Jared buys into this way more because from his end, Matt, Cirie, and Blue are the only people he can trust. Everybody else, because he sees like Felicia versus Izzy now. Okay, they're on the other side, but with Cirie, like when Jared was not in the HOH room after this, and it was just those three, it just felt like, why is Blue there? Like I'm just not used to Blue in a conversation with Matt and Cirie. So used to Matt and Cirie. That's why I was like, I don't see this lasting.
It's we should point out that probably one of the reasons why they're not including Felicia or Mimi is that they know that Mimi was in on that flip. So and granted, they already weren't including Mimi in things. I don't think they would have anyway, but they are a little bit skeptical of Mimi right now because they know that she knew that stuff, didn't tell them. And so remember, Cirie sort of caught Mimi the night before as well. One of the reasons why she was able to see what was coming. Which is not to say that I think that they will target Mimi or Felicia anytime soon, but they, I think, are trying to like move in this direction. Of course, they really should just try to be locking in with Mimi and Felicia. Not that they need to, because Mimi and Felicia are already willing to work with them, but like we are really starting to see like the pockets of people now. Like if we're looking at the house, you have Cirie and Jared who have Blue, but Blue is a little bit trying to keep her foot in other places. You've got Jared and or Jag and Matt, who also kind of have blue, but she's got her foot over on the Jared side too. And then Matt is also trying to double dip, or really triple dip, because he's also in with Corey in America, who's another one. And then you kind of got Cam and Bowie a little bit, but not really, because Bowie's already kind of siding with Corey over Cam. And Bowie's just kind of like doing her own thing. And then of course Mimi and Felicia, who are like dipping their toes over in the Suri Jared thing, but then also willing to maybe go somewhere else. And that's the main thing for Mimi and Felicia for me. Like, okay, you've obtained this information that you can't rely on Suri and Jared. Great. You absolutely should continue to work with them, of course. But knowing what you know about not being able to rely on them, what do you do with that information? Like,
Right.
is that actually going to change your game? Because it should. But how? Like, how it should change your game is that you should start branching out a little more, having more strategic conversations, making sure that you are covered in the same way that they're trying to be covered. Um, so I hope that's what they intend to do, but we'll have to wait and see, I think, on that one.
Yeah. I mean, because even if I were Mimi, did we see? Was it even on the feeds her and Corey connect at any point yesterday?
Yeah, no, that hasn't seemed to, like, and that's
Sorry.
the thing about, like, if you've been playing a passive game for a really long time, it's very rare that, like, you just start your behavior changes like on a dime and you just start being super active all of a sudden.
Yeah.
And that's why it's like the idea of like a player that like just chills and then turns it on later. You almost never see that. In fact, I can't think of almost any player that has just completely changed their style of play, like at a certain point. Even when they're forced to play, like that's basically the only time it happens. Like you get put on the block and you're like,
Mm-hmm.
oh, I have to play. But then as soon as you're safe again, you go back to what is natural for you or what you've been doing for the last, 2 months or whatever. Um, so we'll see though. I do think that Mimi's game has benefited a lot from the events of the last week, and that she really did, when presented with an opportunity, finally did like take that chance, and really advanced her position in the game, and is now in a pretty good spot. So it's not like she has to be too active right now, because the current setup benefits her for the most part. Later into the night, we're gonna hear, some people talk about using her as a pawn again. So that's not the best, but and that's where like if she was a little more active and just talking to Jag a little more, talking to Corey a little more, I don't think they'd even come close to thinking about using her as a pawn. But it is what it is at this point.
Right. Yeah, that's why it's like, yeah, Felicia and Mimi having this realization. It's not they can't do anything with it if they don't try to act on it. Like you could say words all day. We've seen that happen day after day after day. So I don't know if it's not happening now, it'd be hard to see. I guess unless Mimi ends up on the block or gets HOH, like something has to prompt her to be like, okay, I really need to lock in like either Corey or Jag or just anyone else if she wants to move forward and have a path without Suri and Jared, just have an option. Because yeah, this vote, like you said, I knew she was already saving Felicia, but it was like if you plan to go to the grocery store later and then your friends are like, oh my gosh, what are you doing today? I'm like, oh yeah, I'm going to the grocery store. They're like, oh my gosh, we should all go to the grocery store. They make all these plans to go to the grocery store. And you're like, well, I was going to go anyway. So sure. Like it really took nothing from Mimi to agree, but it really sucks that it didn't like really help her coming out of this. Cause they're like, oh yeah, we have Mimi's vote to make it a 6, but now what?
Yeah, so we'll see. I mean, if anything, if this like new group with Matt and Blue does eventually come out, that might be enough to finally wake them up to really start playing, or they might already be going in that direction. So, um, we'll see. Corey and America are eventually nominated, and the rest of the day is really slow.
Yes.
Like, let me tell you, there were just hours upon hours of dual showman's cams. And, you know, I don't care if you're Jared or Blue or Corey in America, that's boring.
One 1,000%. And I mean, even for the AmeriCorey stands out there, I I like the constant kissing noises. Like, I don't know how anybody can watch that and just really enjoy, because what the hardest part is that they talk in between. But then it's back to, so I'm like, I can't sit through I will just see what people put on Twitter. I cannot sit through that.
I mean, most of the time, honestly, like, this kind of talk isn't super relevant. Like, it's a lot of, like, back and forth circle talk, and,
Where's your belly button? Yeah.
yeah. You'll get, like, one thing, like, basically, the biggest thing that they're talking about is that, Cam wants America to pick him for the veto, and she kind of wants to do it, and Corey's like, "No, that would not be good." Um, so, Matt and Cirie do have a conversation. Matt tells Cirie that he's here for her now that Izzy is gone. And they agree that they both feel good about this new group moving forward. And Cirie asks Matt, like, if Cam does win the veto, who would you prefer to see go between America and Corey? And he says, I would like America to go. I think she's more dangerous. So that is where Matt would lean. I don't know that it's where Cirie and Jared would want him to lean, but it is where he would lean. I think that at the end of the day, like, if Cameron wins, doesn't use the veto, we think about the votes. It does feel like Bowie would probably lean toward wanting to keep Corey. Matt seems to be leaning in that direction. I think Jag would. So that's 3. Then if let's just for the sake of, because if Cirie wants Corey to stay, then that's it. Corey's staying.
Mhm.
But let's say for sake of argument, Cirie wants Corey to go. So then like Cirie and maybe Felicia, and then maybe Mimi. I don't know why Mimi would want America to stay over Corey, but maybe it doesn't matter enough
Right.
that she's willing to go along with it. And that kind of leaves Cam would I feel like Cam would probably want Corey.
Because then he'll think he has America to himself.
Well, I I feel like it's tough. I feel like I could see Cam going either way, to be honest. I feel like he might talk to Blue about it, or sorry, Bowie about it. And if Bowie wants Corey, then they might go in that direction. He might also feel like, Corey, especially if it's against what Cirie wants,
Mhm.
he might want to go in that direction. So it could really be an interesting vote, I think, one way or another. Um, so who
I
knows?
could very well see Mimi, like, even though Corey staying would be better for her game because she does not have a strong working relationship with America, I could see her saying, I'm not putting my neck out on the line for Corey. Like, Corey's not
Oh
worth
yeah,
me voting against the house for him. So she's probably not even gonna try to put up a fight for Corey.
I think so too. It would really basically, I think it would, so if it's say Bowie, Jag, Matt, um, Cirie, Felicia, Mimi, then
Mhm.
Cam and Blue are the 2 swing votes. They would both have to go toward Corey if Jared wants Corey out. Otherwise, it would be a tie. Um, and uh, I don't know. I don't think Blue's going to go against what Jared wants to keep Corey. So I think Corey still probably leaves. And if Blue doesn't go, I don't think Matt goes either. And then it probably becomes a landslide from there. So early predictions here, but
Yeah.
maybe.
My thing was, after the feeds came back and we knew the nominations, I didn't anticipate. I mean, I guess I could have guessed it, but like, yes, the dual showman's cams, Corey and America just isolating together. Oh, I can't believe we're in the box together. So sad, right? But post veto doesn't get used. Do you think one or the other is going to try to be like, oh, no, you deserve to be here. No, you deserve to be here. Or is Corey going to realize this has been his lifelong dream? America realize she's been a Big Brother fan forever, not sacrifice her game for their romance.
I think that they will both say you deserve to be here, and then they will both campaign really hard. um, But really, I guess what all the speculation comes down to is whatever Suri decides will be what happens between Corey and America. If they stay on the block. That said, there's not a lot of reason for them to stay on the block because if Cam does win the veto, he is inclined to use it on them, which is part of why this next thing is kind of important, which is that Cam and America have another talk about him asking her to use the veto on him. And she basically says, like, I don't know if I can do that, Cam. You know, you're the target, right? And he is like, you really want to, I mean, you don't want to use the veto on me, like, or you don't want me to be able to use the veto on you. And she really feels like she messed up by telling him no. And that, like, by telling him that he was the target, and she's gonna go to Corey and be like, I'm sorry, I screwed up again. And the concern is if Cam does play and win, will he feel like he doesn't want to use the veto on one of us because we're telling him that we're basically abandoning him? I'm pretty sure that during this update, Corey has now also told Cam, like, sorry, bro, but I don't think I can pick you for the veto. So that would be the concern. However, Cam, I think, understands. I think he feels like, I get it. Like, why would they pick me? They're trying to save themselves. And also doesn't have a lot of incentive to not use the veto. Like, who cares? He can go ahead and use it, and then he can't go up. Maybe they threaten Bowie goes up, but like, that's not like the biggest deal in the world. On top of that, we already heard from Jared that he wants Cam to use the veto because he wants to backdoor Jag if Cam is safe. So Jared might actually encourage Cam to use the veto. But that's if Jared doesn't change his mind, which he very well might.
Yeah, they shook on something. I couldn't tell if that was the seven deadly sins or yeah, I guess it was early this morning. I guess Matt. Yeah, I guess so. With the group of people, Matt, Jag, Felicia, Suri, Blue, and Jared. I guess that's the seven deadly
They've been
sins.
trying to get the six deadly sins back
Yeah.
together for a meeting.
I don't know. Yeah, I think that I would think that he would do Bowie, which I think Corey's fear is correct in that if Cameron uses the veto, one of us for sure is going home. The other one who is not saved by the veto, because Jared most likely will put up Bowie. Because I'm like, why get out Jag when you have this agreement, quote unquote, where Jag may not come after you? You don't even have Matt saying that Jag would come after you. So Jared should feel a little bit more comfortable.
I mean, it is definitely a much better move to take out Jag if he can manage it, because Matt is but he doesn't know this, but like, Matt is his most dangerous adversary right now, and taking out Jag really weakens Matt. And so like, there is, and he sees Jag as like his biggest comp threat right now, because he's like literally the only other person in the house that's won a comp other than Cam. And Felicia, of course. And so, that's, I think, why he was leaning in that direction. So I think he still probably is leaning in that direction. But he does tell Jag that he's going to put up Bowie. And so, will he really put up Bowie? He's been very reluctant to in the past. So who knows? But that's sort of like, that would be the next question. If Cam does win the veto and does use it, does Jared actually put up Jag, or does he put up Bowie?
Right. And then in that situation, even if Jag is on the block and Jared's like, I'm making this big move to get out Jag, if it's Corey and Jag, what makes the house think, let's go ahead and split up a showmance? Why would they decide to go after Jag?
I think the votes still come down. Suri and Jared still probably decide. Like, if Felicia, Mimi, Blue, and Suri all vote one way, then Jared will be able to break the tie, and they can basically decide who leaves.
Yeah.
So, but the problem is that so Corey, Jag, Matt, and America are going to hang out, and they let Corey know that Jared is saying he'll put up Bowie, and they're like, this could be good for us because we feel like we might have Blue right now. And that's the big question. If Bowie goes on the block against Corey or America, do they have? They think they probably have Blue's vote, so it would be Jag, Matt, Bowie, or sorry, not Bowie, Jag, Matt, America. If Bowie's up against Corey, Jag, Matt, America. They would try to get Cam, and then they think they might have Blue, and that would be 5. That would be enough, but they would need both Cam and Blue to go against what Jared wants.
Right.
So that's kind of a tricky proposition as well. So no matter what happens, it's always going to be very tricky with the vote, unless it's Cam, in which case it seems straightforward, but this is also a weird house. And we're talking through all these scenarios. None of them might matter. The feeds are down for the veto draw right now.
Yeah.
If Cam is not picked for the veto, then it comes down to, does Jared change his mind between now and Monday for what he wants to do?
And this this is what I mean by this post Izzy world, because even if Izzy was in this house, even if Cameron wasn't pulled, there could be so much like weighing, like, okay, I'm just looking through both sides of it. Like, Izzy she always wanted to weigh everything, which is why there was always a consideration of everything under the sun. And because Cirie felt comfortable bouncing ideas off of, like, Cirie knows she can't do that with Jared. She tells Jared what she wants to happen, and Jared agrees. Whereas Izzy was more of that, like, partnership where they could figure things out. So I could even see, if this were a week ago, or, everything that transpired obviously matters, but I could see her saying we should go ahead and take a shot at Corey in America. But with this being Jared HOH, and Cirie just, she may just want to go with what Jared wants, or she may think of something else, but it could be very straightforward.
And I also want to stop down again on America and Corey both telling Cam they're not going to pick him for the veto. Why?
Right.
There's a very good chance, the odds are more likely, that you will not get a house guest choice pick anyway.
Yeah.
So just tell him that you're willing to pick him. Like, let me think it over, but I think I probably will. And then if you don't draw a house guest choice pick, then he never has to know that you weren't going to pick him. And if you do, worst case scenario, you do get it, you say, I'm sorry, I thought about it, and last minute I realized I just can't, because if you win the veto, even if you use it, then one of us will leave. It was what we had to do. And if he does get drawn, and because that's like worst case scenario, you don't pick him. But then if you do get house guest choice pick and you don't pick him, then one of the 3 options is already not him. He's very unlikely to play. And if he does play, then he gets drawn first, maybe, and then you get house guest choice and he's already drawn, and you don't have to tell him that you were never going to pick him. Like, there are so many different reasons why this never has to come out.
They just, it would be a lot better for them if they could lie as easily as Jared lies, just day in and day out for no reason. I don't know why they didn't think that they could just lie to him.
To be fair to Corey, I think that's what he wanted to do, which is why America was like, I screwed up. But like, you could, and I guess once you go in that direction, you can't backtrack it and then backtrack again. So, but still, come on.
Yeah.
Anyway, it's important to talk about the Corey, Jag, Matt, America hangout, because they're hanging out. They're basically the only group left in the house that seems to like just freely get along right now, because even between like Cirie, Felicia, and Mimi, there's a little bit of tension where like before they would just hang out. There's still tension. There's a little bit of tension even between like Matt and Cirie, and like Jared and Blue, and all of these people. There's like just tension. But with Corey, Jag, Matt, America, they're hanging out late at night by themselves in the bathroom. They're making fun of Jared's performance in the fight the day before. talking about how obvious it was that he was lying, and then he would immediately fold, and he was like, oh, he's telling Corey to lower his voice, like after he had been yelling. And they joke about how they're like, oh my God, Jag, we were so pissed at you when Jared told us that you had told him about the flip. We were so pissed. We were like, that guy. And Corey's like, I'm gonna get out ahead of this. I said some mean stuff. I said that you were like the worst player in the world. And Jack's like, yo, why is it always me? Why are they always pitting all this stuff on me? And Jag says, that's the thing, about life. It's all about balance. Jared up and he found out. Well, granted, he won HOH, so maybe not, but he will
Right.
find out.
And what's funny though is the finding the comedy on that side. Whoa, why is Jared always after me? Rather than, well, while we're on the topic, why did y'all believe Jared over me? Why didn't? Isn't it so funny? Like, why didn't y'all just come ask me? Like that. But it's Jack. He's not going to think of that
I
until
think
later.
that because Corey went and got him in the middle of the argument, like basically the way they're telling the story is that like they found out, got into the argument very quickly, and then at one point they quickly got Jag. Like I don't think they necessarily told him about all of the time between the first telling and then the argument.
Yeah.
They talk about they go back even further. They're talking about how that time Corey's like, oh, there was that time that America like hinted to you that she might know about the 7 deadly sins, and then you ratted us out, and then I got so much heat from it from Izzy, like, why does America know this? And I think at that point that's why Izzy told America about 7 deadly sins. And Jag is like, oh, she didn't hint to me that she knew about that. And America's like, dude, he's like, she listed out the names of the entire alliance. And Corey's like, America, you told me you were like feeling it out. She's like, yeah, I was feeling it out.
Oh my gosh. Did it also feel the moment that America brought up? She was like, yeah, like they tried to make an alliance with me, Suri, Jared, and Corey. Did it feel like Corey in that moment? It kind of felt like Corey didn't want her saying that much, but she's just everything's out there now, I guess.
Corey talks about how lucky it was that Matt walked into the HOH to take a while he was campaigning for Jag to not go up on the block, which is very funny because at the time I was like, dude, why are you doing this in front of Matt? And Jag says that was so key. That was so key because Matt was able to back up Corey's story that he was campaigning for Jag to not go on the block before Jag had even volunteered as a pawn. And Jag says, Matt, that was a godly
Oh gosh.
So they hang out. This is there's like a genuine social bond here that exists. But I talk about that because it's important that Jag really feels that, and Matt feels a little threatened by it. Because after Corey and America leave, Matt asks Jag, so we've still got like the remnants of 7 deadly sins. Now we've got this new thing with Corey and America. We were already looking at this a few days ago. Which side are you leaning toward now? And Jag says, well, obviously I'm leaning toward Corey and America. They're obviously the ones that we can trust. They're telling the truth. Like Jared lied to us, all of this stuff. Matt says, I could go either way. It seems to me that Blue is going in that direction and you are going in like the Corey and America direction. And that kind of leaves me in the middle again. My thing with Corey and America is that I feel like I'm on the bottom with them. And Jag says, oh no, I don't think that's the case. And Matt says, well, I don't talk to them as much as you do. And I feel like America is closer to Blue than she is to me. So I don't love that. And Jag says, well, I see it differently. Corey and America want a 4 with us, which is good just by itself. Like us 2 with them 2, that's good for us. And then if Blue is in this group too, I think Blue is closer to us than she is with Corey and America. So basically, we would have like a 3 with Blue, and then a 4 with Corey and America, and then us just like in the middle, like in a really good spot. And Matt says, okay, that does make sense. The other thing I'm thinking about is Jared needs to go as soon as possible, especially if we side with 7 Deadly Sins. It's like, and this is why I'm like, okay, I think Matt's plan, get rid of Jared, then get rid of Corey and America. I think that's what Matt wants to do, which is kind of the right thing to do for the most part.
For him,
of course,
especially,
Cam goes first, then Jared, then Corey and America. Then he's in a good spot. Pretty good spot. Might need to worry about Mimi, but you know.
The what's so funny is, you know, instead of the big fight being like game recognizes game, we just see what y'all are doing. We're not so, you know, mad about it or whatever. The fact that Matt and Jag are sitting here aligned with everybody at this point, except for Mimi and Cameron, with or I guess Bowie too, with the 7 Deadly Sins, the 4, the 3, like they're making sure that they're in a good spot. It's like, now you see why Suri and Jared and Izzy did it, Felicia. But what's the irony here that was not lost on me was Jag saying he wants to ride it out with Corey and America, who are both on the block. Like, we don't even know what's going to happen after today, as in Saturday. They could still be on the block. Then what? Then you're going to have to change your game plan. It felt too early in the week to be like, yes, we got to ride it out with Corey and America, who are on the block. But
And Jag makes a hard pitch for working with Corey and America. Jag wants to just fully ride it out with Corey and America. Matt seemingly less so. But Jag says the thing is we can't trust any of them on that side. Jared lied. Felicia's targeting us. Suri lied and leaked information. We can still work with them, but we can't trust them like we can trust Corey and America. Jag said, Corey even told me that if one of them leaves this week, they still want the group to continue forward without them because we've built something really good. And so Matt's like, yes, and they both agree that they still need Jared out, and you know, until they get Jared out, they can't fully be working with Blue. So the plan is still take out Jared as soon as possible. I think for Matt, it's like take out Jared, then I can still work with that side. And maybe Matt does target Mimi before Corey and America. He's smart enough to realize that like if he's in an alliance with Corey and America, you know, probably take out a couple of the others first, then play both sides. But clearly, I think this is an indication that Matt wants to have his end game be something like himself, Suri, Jag, maybe Blue, maybe not. Maybe minus America, maybe with Corey in there. I'm not sure. But like, Matt is not picking a side. Matt wants to chop every side. And Jag, as we know, wants to pick a side, and he wants to pick Corey in America.
Right. Which is why Matt is in a significantly better position than Jag. And Matt also never told Jag yesterday or today about Blue, Jared, and Suri, right?
Yeah.
Which shows me, even though they have the Minutemen, Jag will never, I don't think Jag will ever be Matt's Suri. Like the way that he went to Suri, told her everything beat by beat, he's not going to do that with Jag.
I think Matt realized when he found out that Suri was like quadruple dipping.
Yeah.
I probably shouldn't tell everyone anything. I shouldn't tell anyone everything, which is smart for Matt. I think he could tell Jag. I think he can trust Jag with information in that he wouldn't intentionally leak it. But I think it's smarter for him to just keep his own confidence.
Yeah. I do think that Matt is more upset with Jared over this whole situation than Suri, and that
for sure
the relationship is repairable with Suri, which it felt because he genuinely enjoys Suri.
I think Matt honestly feels he cannot trust Jared. He blames Jared for basically all of what happened. And I think that Matt feels like once Jared is gone, Blue gets freed up to work with him and Jag, and Suri gets freed up to work with him again in a real way without Jared there to interfere. Because he knows too now that Suri told Jared about the power and didn't tell him that she did that. And he also has a lot of personal feelings against Jared because of the what happened in the argument. And strategically, Jared is just in the way of things. He says Jared is going to win this game if we don't take him out as soon as possible. So he wants Jared gone, and that frees the game up for him. And he's right.
Yeah. And then even just to see like his personal reasons for wanting Jared gone and also his personal reasons for wanting Suri to stay, because we learn he's been watching Survivor his whole life and he's basically seen almost every season. So he he knows, like he has respect for Suri. Similar to Corey, but in a way that I like want to work with you.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I would say the main thing for Matt is that ideally he's not the one to take Jared out himself. That he doesn't know it, but that would burn Suri pretty bad. And limit his options. I don't think he knows that though. I think he probably thinks he can get away with it. But obviously we know that would not go down the way that he thinks. So
Yeah.
ideally for him, it's like Jag does it, or Corey, or in America, or really anybody else. Most of the other people that were willing to do it. So we'll see. But that's about the day. Asia, anything else you want to bring up?
Yeah, the couple of moments where Suri and Matt had to hide in the bathroom was
I'm not hiding in the bathroom anymore.
dang, let's go back to the bathroom. That was a nice bonding moment for them. I mean, this season loves to hide in the bathroom. I feel like it's spotty with past seasons, but they always hiding. There's only so many places you can be. And then also that conversation with Suri and Jared in the HOH room. When Jared goes, watch when I get out of here. Izzy's gonna be so close with Kenzie and Pops.
Oh yeah.
You gotta be kidding me. You've got to be kidding. Like
I don't
like
understand this man.
I don't either. Because at this point, what? Like, how are two things true? He must think Big Brother is a magical place where everything there is just null and void outside of this.
I don't.
And
I don't get
Izzy,
it.
and if he knew Izzy at all, Izzy is not somebody who is about to be. She may get close to Kenzo to be like, let that man go. Do not go back to him, please.
No, I think Izzy's gonna. She's family now. She's gonna defend her brother. I think. But I like. Listen, I don't want to get too into the personal. I don't think that family reunion is going to include Jared's I think ex-girlfriend at this point. So
true. Yeah.
although
I
who
don't
knows?
think,
Listen,
yeah.
I don't know. Her social media seems to indicate otherwise, but who knows? Anything can change.
Yeah. I mean, Izzy, yeah, I can't remember which interview it was that she did say that she was bothered that Jared had told Blue, because she did she was very aware of like protecting that secret from them. And so she did not like that. And
Yeah.
then I also saw her interview with ET Canada, I think it was with Jed, that she was like, she doesn't know if she would work with Jared if he was not Suri's son. So I think it'll be interesting as Izzy learns things, what her opinions will be. I think Izzy's loyalty is Suri first and foremost.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, for sure. All right. Well, that's what we have for you today. The veto draw, obviously incredibly important. It's probably, and I think the
just
feeds
came back.
literally just came back.
Yeah.
So maybe we can vamp for a couple of minutes to see if we're able to quickly ascertain whether or not Cam has been picked for the veto. Because obviously it would be a big cliffhanger if he was, and a big kind of ending to this chapter of the story if he was not. So hopefully we are able to get this information relatively quickly, and because it's really the only thing that matters from that whole situation.
He
People.
doesn't look sad. He's a little red in the face, but I don't know if he's trying to act like nothing's wrong.
This is, I guess if you're like an avid listener of the updates, but you don't actually watch the feeds much, like this is very much the normal stuff that happens here is that like you'll be watching, be like, okay, do they seem happy? Do they
Investigative work.
like what's do I does anybody do other people seem sad? Um, okay, they're saying I'm getting
Think
a
he
few
was
people
picked.
saying that he was picked. Obviously, I'm not able to listen to, myself, but, I'm hearing that he actually might have been picked
I
for
think
the
Bowie
feed.
was picked too because Felicia is telling Bowie, "You gotta beat him. You got to beat him." And Bowie said, "If it's physical, she's gonna throw some elbows," which is funny because Bowie does all this talk, and she's actually good with Cam.
Alright, well, so there it is. Cam may be playing in the veto today. Seems like that is the case, which of course means that all of those options that we talked about today, they are still relevant. Cam could win, and a number of things could happen based on that. So it's going to be a big veto competition. Rumors are that it's OTEV. I do think Cam would have a very good shot at winning OTEV. So we will have to wait and see. I will be back tomorrow morning, 11 a.m. Eastern, to update on everything that happens today on the Big Brother 25 live feeds, including who wins the power of veto and what may come of that. So stay tuned tomorrow. And then there's going to be a very late episode on tomorrow night. You can find me over on Twitch, twitch.tv/Taran Armstrong, watching that episode with all of you live. And then after the episode, live to recap it all at, like midnight Eastern, basically. Uh, check all of that out. And of course, if you want merch, check out my merch store. I'll tweet out a link. You can find the link also on my Twitch page. You can get some cool stuff over there. Asia, where can people find you?
Yeah, y'all can find me on all social media at Asia Like Asia. That's AYSHA like ASIA. Over on post show recaps, I am joining Mari Forth. Very excited because this is our first podcast we've ever co hosted together. We're talking about The Other Black Girl, which is on Hulu. They released the whole season on Hulu last Wednesday. It's such a good show. Such a good show. So we're going to be covering 2 episodes per podcast. So look out for that. The first podcast will drop on Monday. So go subscribe to Post Show Recaps. And The Connect has their own feed. So go subscribe so you can listen to Mari and I talk about The Other Black Girl. It's very, very good. It's like a comedic psychological thriller. And then also, Love is Blind premieres September 22nd. So very excited to talk some Love is Blind. We will talk, it's Love is Blind season 5. So co-hosting that with Mary Kukowski. And we will be talking about the premiere with the Nothing But Netflix duo. So very excited about that. And then, of course, we'll have coverage for each drop each week. So anything I'm up to, I will tweet about it or post about it on Instagram. So definitely go give me a follow.
All right. Well, thank you all so much for joining us here today. And I will see all of you next time.